Hello?
Hi,
Are you alright?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Yeah, so my name is Nelza and I'll be interviewing you today.
Awesome.
This video is sponsored by Rave Magazine London.
Awesome.
So we can go ahead and start with something as simple as you introducing yourself.
Okay. My name's Seyi Adeyemi. So I'm the owner and designer for FADXSTYLES London.
Yes. Okay, and where are you from?
Originally born in Nigeria, Ibadan, to be exact. Uh,
Okay, so
yeah.
so you you're based in the UK?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Came to the UK a couple of years ago to live with my family. So
Okay,
out here, yeah.
good. Okay, so just to ease it off, how are you managing with the current lockdown season and what are you doing to stay motivated?
To be honest, it's kind of hard though. I can't lie. It's difficult. Um, I'm guessing I'm probably going through it the same way as anybody else.
Yeah.
But
I
we just got to keep focused. So myself, I'm just trying to keep motivated. Um, Reading, probably.
yeah.
And I've been designing really. So yeah, I've been cooked
Okay,
up
that's great.
indoor designing, reading.
Yeah.
Probably on Netflix really. But yeah,
Okay.
I've just been doing
Taking
the
it
same
easy
thing.
a little bit.
I'm not gonna be out here trying to act like I'm doing something different other than what motivates me, really, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Um, so I understand that you have your own fashion label.
Yes,
Has this pandemic caused any effects with your business?
absolutely, yeah. My manufacturer, they went into lockdown just exactly the same time when the government put uh, the
The
injunction out, the
notice.
notice out. So it was hard, but we kept some stock. So we kept some stock
Mm.
with us, which helped. Um,
Hmm.
But to be honest, it affected sales because it was something that was new to the business.
Yeah,
It
unexpected.
was unexpected.
Mm.
Um, so not having access to these products and not having to provide the orders as quick as possible
Mm.
for our customers as well was quite difficult. But like
Yeah,
I said, we kept some stock, so that helped. Mainly, what we did was that we were lucky enough to have stock with us, and mainly these are the products that we had on the website.
yeah,
So we're a little bit nervous because we're not sure if we want to know what to do next. So we kept in contact with our guys, so they kind of ensure us that if we need extra stuff, they might find a way to maneuver it. So I mean, it was, to be honest, it was difficult. It affected sales. It was hard to shoot for new products, but we just kept positive and hopefully things get eased a little.
yeah. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
But I don't know if 2020 has ended yet, but hopefully
Uh, it's still
things
six
will
months.
start picking up
It's
slowly.
still 6 months. The good news is that they actually emailed us. They emailed us last Monday, this past Monday,
Mm.
and they actually back. They back in the office, so hopefully we can get
Things
order things
moving.
moving. We've been delaying some orders, and definitely that's as a result of the pandemic.
Exactly.
So normally, if we would ship our products in like a week, now we're having to email customers, it's taking longer. So sometimes it
Yeah,
could be 2 weeks or whatever. So
yeah.
it did affect it a little bit, but hopefully we've managed quite well.
To deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So would you like to explain a little bit how you got started and how life may have been for you growing up and any difficult times that you may have faced along the way as well as
Yeah.
an artist?
You mean as a business or myself?
Yourself, like creating a business and, putting yourself out there and creating your label.
Okay.
How
Um,
was it for you?
okay. So, firstly, I've always been around the industry. So, for example, I've worked with guys to personal shop at the supported in personal shopping. So
Okay.
I've worked with artists. Like for example, I've worked with LAX.
Okay.
I'd worked with YC. So I'd worked with a couple of artists already in the industry prior to actually starting the brand. So
Okay.
obviously that kind of gave me a little bit of confidence.
Yes.
I can't lie, it was hard started with
Hmm.
because it was something new and it's an
Yes.
environment you're not exposed to. So I wouldn't be on here and say, oh yeah, it was just a roller coaster and we just came in and just So the first thing was obviously having the idea of how things run. I mean, in terms of what is needed for the industry.
Yes.
So what we did was obviously started small,
Hmm.
trying to understand what market we're going into.
Yes.
Coming from Nigeria and I've always had interest in fashion, so I've always knew certain brands even before coming out here. So that
Okay.
it'd always been something that I'd have interest in anyway. Do you understand?
Exactly.
So obviously starting the brand, I wanted to do something that represent the idea because I grew up in Ibadan. It's quite different from, which is a place in Nigeria. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the place. So there's not a lot of these cool things happening there when I was growing up.
Yeah.
You can't Lagos, for example. So
Hmm.
there was no cool clothing most of the time. When I need to get some of these clothes, my mom would probably be the one to solicit. She would go
Oh,
someplace in Lagos to buy some of this stuff. So I wanted to create something that represented what I should have had
right.
in Nigeria. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
Right.
maybe a brand that you resonate with, or a shop that you can actually go into, which we don't have most of the time. You
Yeah.
probably go to a market to pick up a polo t-shirt that probably fake. Yeah,
Right.
you
Exactly.
understand? Because
Yes. Yes. Yes.
this was the energy we grew up with. So coming down in and seeing the opportunity that I can grab, I kind of took it, and obviously roll with it. And I put that into the brand. So I thought, okay, I would create something that I could have had, but at the same time, it would resonate with the youth from
Right.
Nigeria, youth from London. But I do streetwear, so a kind of something that you can skate with, or
Right.
do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
A contemporary type of fashion. So
Okay.
after understanding that, okay, the niche market is to go for the youth with probably a certain age to a specific age as well. Well, I'm still young, so
Yes. So
so
you're relatable to the
probably
youth.
a younger adult that still watch cartoons and probably
Ah.
interested in sci-fi. Yeah, all those little things. So we understand that this is the market that we wanted to go to, and that's for any business. You got to understand that that's the first bit, you know. So the next part is actually understanding where you want to source the material,
Okay.
get your produce from.
Right.
And firstly, I thought, okay, I mean, I'm not gonna bash certain places, but I'd initially made contact with certain part of the world to see if I can source material and create these products there. But after researching into fashion, it's very important for me to create something that's environmental friendly, and
Right.
I don't want to make a product that I can't talk about, or things that I'm not proud to say this is where the clothes are coming from and this is how it's done. So that was
Mm.
important as well to understand that. So we decided not to use this specific part of the world to create the product. And
Okay.
and sometimes even when I go to network and try to meet other people that are ready, because another thing that's important is networking.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I would go to fashion events and people that already been doing some brand called Vivendi, some Nigerian brand called Vivendi already been doing what we wanted to start out doing. So I would another brand called Nothing. So we would go to their pop-up show to see how, and talk to these guys and see how they started. And one of the
Mm.
questions that I get asked is, "Oh, where do your product? If you're gonna start a brand, where would your product come from? Do you realize the impact of certain sourcing certain materials from certain places? Some people using child labor and things like that."
Yes.
So
Yes.
how I couldn't answer the question, And guess what? At this time, I already got samples in. So I was thinking, oh, yeah, this kind of look like a thing and it's important. So we scrapped that and we decided, okay, all our clothing would come from the UK. So if we have to include the cost in what we're selling, it's very important for us to know and be proud that the product,
where it's coming from,
and it's something that we can share with our customers. It's something that we're happy about. Do you understand? So we find a manufacturer in the UK, and we found a designer in the UK, a printer, and all the things needed. We sourced in the UK, and having that in place kind of felt comfortable, and that was the second part of understanding what is needed for the brand. So this time you've got your niche market, you've got the materials, you're sure that this is where it's coming from. There was no issue about no environmental whatever, we got that sorted out. So the next part is obviously designing. And I'd always had background in design because I used to draw when I was younger. So it's always been.
So at what age did you know, okay, artists for you?
Oh, trust me, very young. I used to draw, I love cartoons, so most of the time I used to draw my favorite art. Favorite. I remember one of my first drawings is some cartoon character called Tasmanian Devil or something it's called.
Oh yes, I've heard of that one.
I actually drew a brilliant picture of it. And
so that was the starting point.
That was the start. But coming from Nigeria and the struggle, and whatever, my mom picked it up and she knew that I was gonna start this new interest in whatever. And my mom is Igbo, so she's very, she's probably like an industrialist. So she was like, "Yo, you're not gonna be no eyes. You're gonna go to you're gonna be a doctor
or a lawyer,
a lawyer." So sometimes she actually get furious. Shout out to that woman. She get furious. She would rip the design out and whatnot. So I at a point I thought, okay, maybe this is not what I wanted to do. I just lost interest and I decided to chase the education that they wanted.
Right.
But coming here and obviously fetching for yourself kind of gave me the zeal or the energy that, okay, look, I might just do what I wanted. At the end of the day, I'm paying my bill. I've been to school. I've done this degree that she wanted. You get what I mean? So that was,
you got to please your parents.
But trust me, if you're from Nigeria, you know that you
have to put education first.
The idea is that if something fails, whatever you're chasing, you can come back to that. Which, to be honest, I've got to tell the youngers out there, even though you wanted to chase this, to be honest, it's always good to have something. Because even understanding the part of the business of FADXSTYLES, you kind of need some sort of idea how to run a business anyway. And you can't get that from drawing or whatever interest you have. Do you understand?
You need to have the foundation.
You've got to have the foundation. You're talking about where's your source of funding is going to come from. It's a lot of things that's entangled with a business, if you understand what I mean. So I kind of lost that interest, like I said, when I was younger, picked it up now, and I thought, okay, I love art, so you would find me going to what's it called, a art gallery, or just so I love contemporary art as well. So one of the things is naming the aesthetic of the brand. What's this brand going to represent? So obviously I've talked about youth culture, not having that in Nigeria. I wanted to create like a youth scene in Nigeria. I see a lot of it happening now in Lagos to be specific, but it's not a lot of it happening in Ibadan, and it would be nice to actually introduce that. So like I said, that started the brand off. And then the design part, I started one of my early designs, I did it myself. But as the brand grows, I started to bring along these kids that studied art in college and things like that. So I learned, or I would pay them. Some of them would design together. Some of them I would pay them to design for the brand. So it ended up having like a little team and people getting paid to actually work for FADXSTYLES. You know,
Okay.
so
So you're giving other up and coming artists the
yes,
opportunity
yes, yes,
as well as they're getting paid so
yes,
they can
yes,
get
yes.
a
So
bit motivated.
exactly, because I don't want to obviously pass it out as mine. And even sometimes when we put out a new design, we would actually shout out to them or tag them in the picture, things like that, to know that this is the person behind these hot,
Right.
you know. So obviously, starting off designing, we know what the niche market is. We've obviously created a brand. The design is there. Now we
Hmm.
need to sell it. So this is when the other part of my life, like I said, the initial stage, styling and personal personal shopping or whatever, merge with the brand. So I used my connect on that side
Yes, your
to
experience that you've had.
exactly to obviously merge it with the brand. So for example, it's important to advertise, and
Yes.
and some of it obviously you've got to use your network. So your
Yes.
network.
It's who you
So,
know.
yeah.
Yes.
So we obviously created the design, printed them. Like I said, we've established a manufacturer in the UK. We've established the design. We've done the printing and the clothes are how they made the clothes
Mhm.
to our satisfaction, what we wanted. Because you
You've got your audience,
exactly, we've got
your
audience.
target audience.
Exactly. So the funny enough, I used to have a good following on my Insta. The
Hmm.
FADX style, the original FADX style page used to be my personal page. So
Okay.
I used to got a good following. So when the business started, I'm like, okay, I need to obviously, this is my interest, is something I needed to do. So we converted the personal page to the business. So we
Exactly.
changed the name, and obviously the name thing as well took, trust me, it took a couple of days to actually think
To
about,
come up with the
to
name.
come up the name. To be honest, if you
Did
looked at
you get to come up with the name, or did you as a
uh,
team
it was a
put
team,
ideas
it was a
together?
teamwork, to be honest. Because I came up with some silly names at that time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Some ridiculous.
It's hard
Looking
to
back,
pick a name and stick to that name.
it's hard, especially if you're trying to create something that
Yeah.
you're meant to be serious with. It's meant to be a business.
Yes.
So a- around the team, we thought, okay, what does the brand represent? Like I mentioned, is fashion and style and art. So we thought,
Hmm.
someone just came up with a suggestion, and oh, fashion also means fad. If you check the synonyms of fashion, is fad. So we got
Okay.
fad, and the X
So
in the
that's
middle
another definition of
of
fashion.
fashion. Yeah.
Okay.
So the X in the middle means armed. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last bit is styles. So obviously, what you see is two words together, which means FADX style. So it means fashion and styles.
And style,
Yeah,
yes.
in short.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Right.
obviously then that's the name. So going back to how we got the advertising bit out is I talked to my guy. So for example, LAX was in London that year, and he had a brilliant song out at that time called I can't remember what it's called. It was a hit at that time, and he invited myself and my friend that I used to do styling with to help him out with the video. So we talked to him about obviously my brand and things like that,
Yes.
and he was interested in showcasing for the brand. So we actually used, if you looked at the video back, we actually used some of our products on the
Okay.
video. So it was cool to have a hit song, a big artist to have a hit song out, and having to talk to people like, look, my brand is on LAX and
It
whatever.
must have been an exciting moment
It
for
was
you
an exciting moment, especially
to see your ideas and your
yeah,
vision.
exactly.
You know, someone else is
Oh,
actually
oh yes,
appreciating that and trying to showcase your designs.
exactly. So introduced him to the brand. He loved it. He was happy to rock the brand in the video. We actually had a great relationship, which we still have to date. You know, so that helped a lot in putting the product out. I think he took a
Mm.
picture at a at a radio interview, and he was wearing the T-shirt as well.
Oh, okay.
And if you check one of our earlier posts, you would actually see it there. You
Yes.
know, so that helped as well. Obviously,
Yes.
his fans were exposed to this new brand, and
Yes.
and lucky for us as well, we got to meet Davido, amazing person. And growing up in Ibadan, I used to be in contact with this young artist called Dremo, who got signed to Davido as well. So
Okay.
kind of have like a little relationship with the team as well. So
Yeah.
that helped as well to obviously advertise the brand, because
Your
Davido
brand,
first,
yeah.
yeah, Davido first time he saw it, he loved it,
Okay, that's good.
and he was happy to showcase it. He actually tagged
Yeah.
us on his page, and that helped to build the followers up, got the
The
audience,
awareness of your brand.
the awareness
Yeah.
of the brand. And we went to coming up, we went, and obviously shout out to my friends as well, because they fucked with it. I remember,
Supporters,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
You
remember,
got some good supporters behind you. That's good.
yeah, I remember all of my friends was on it. They were on it.
Yeah.
We one of the things we started with were we did some huts back in, because it was the brand was launching this summer 2016. So
Okay.
we started with some hats as well, and my friends, they rocked it. So that was brilliant. Obviously, getting people to ask friends like, "Oh, where'd you get your hats from?" and things like that. That kind of helped blew out the
Yeah.
we did quite well that year, and obviously, like I said, the Vido team supported. I met YC, obviously, to the same kind of arrangement that I have had previously before starting the brand, and he
Great.
helped. He worked there. I remember him taking it to Nigeria, and he messaged us on Insta that, oh, I loved it. I actually had a screenshot of the message. I'm like, yo, this is one of my biggest. I'm a biggest fan of
Yes, your celebrity
yeah,
moment.
jumping. I'm like, yo,
Yes.
this is brilliant. Like, this guy loved the
When
brand.
you're a
So
fan and
yeah,
he's able to
I was a
appreciate
fan.
your
So I mean, I
brand.
was able to appreciate. I remember I think it was YC. I can't remember messaging back and like, this guy loves your product, and that kind of, trust me, these little things helps you, and you kind of feel
It boosts your
yeah,
confidence. It kind of
exactly.
it shows you that
You're
you're
doing
going in the right
something. Something.
direction
Exactly.
and people
So
can connect to your designs.
yeah, so that was the history. Came from the idea that was uh growing up in Ibadan, there was nothing that I can relate to, and coming here finding this style from here and standing a brand with it of that the youth obviously they can represent with, you know, and yeah, that's how the brand got started.
Yeah, that's how it all started for
So,
you.
and networking, like I
Okay.
said, was very important as well, because it was quite good to be able to get these endorsement and show these brands that are already established what you're doing, and getting their feedback from your designs, and
Yes.
and actually seeing the process of what they're doing as well, and that helped. And my biggest mentors as well was some guy called Off-Wise Vejuablo. I don't know if we still got supporting now with the mess he had made of the
Okay.
black community at the moment. But yeah,
Yes.
it was a big inspiration as well, because looking at someone like that at his age,
Exactly.
starting off his brand, it was brilliant, because as a black person, you just feel like if this person can do it, you can do it as well. So,
Exactly.
so that was the inception of the brand.
Yes. And that is great, just a great feeling. So I can see that you have a lot of passion for what you're doing and you're working, on your purpose. You found that. So if you didn't, if you didn't become a fashion designer,
Mm.
what would you be doing right now?
If I didn't become a fashion designer, what would I be doing?
Hmm.
Probably doing music. I used to do music. I used to have a band.
Okay.
Shout out to my friend Oye Weezy, Mowili, Discus. We used to have a little group, four of us.
Okay.
We used to do Afrobeat way back before Afrobeat is cool now. So
Yeah.
you
What?
lot better
Yeah. Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that we paved the way. We actually had an album out that year, so, and
Okay.
until we grew out of it, and it was
Did
easy.
it do any well? Did it do good?
We did an album. It did quite alright. We did an album. We performed at multiple shows that time. But
Okay.
Afrobeat in the UK was at its early. It wasn't. These days you go
It
to.
wasn't a
It
thing
wasn't a
back
thing.
then.
These days you
Yeah.
go to a rave. They play in Bashman. Shout out to Bashman, man. It was a time. but
Yeah.
Afrobeat wasn't really what it is. So it was actually
It
difficult.
wasn't, yeah.
It was difficult for us to navigate the scene at
Yes.
that time. But
Yes.
yeah, if I probably wasn't doing, I would definitely just be around the heart, just the heart scene, to be honest. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so another question is, as an artist, is there anyone else? Because like you've said, you've had some collaboration and you
Yeah.
have met some artists along your way, musicians. Would there be an ideal designer, anyone else that you would want to collaborate with?
To be honest, not. I'm not a big fan of most of these brands these days. I kind of, which is one of the reasons why we started FADXSTYLES anyway. It's always about your ideas, your thing. But to be honest, I would have loved to collaborate with Off-White because it was a main
Quite similar
inspiration.
to
It
your
was,
styles.
regardless of what's going on with him right now, it was a big inspiration because
Yes.
looking at a young black person from Ghana, he wasn't born in America. Yeah, I don't think he was born in America, but if he was, I probably got my information wrong. But looking at someone like that, his origin is definitely Ghanaian, and he did all that, become successful with the brand. That just feel amazing, and obviously,
Exactly.
he had supported quite a lot of young black designers as well over the years,
Yes.
to be honest. So it'll be awesome to actually do a collaboration with him. And there's
Yeah.
another artist in the UK called Samuel Ross, who I'm a big fan of his brand as well. Some brand called Cold War.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely would love a
You would love to
collaboration.
collaborate
Yeah.
with these designers.
There's a young designer called what's my guy's name? J11. He owns this brand called
Okay.
Norton. He's sick. I would love to do some collaboration with him as well. There's not a lot of people that influence me because we just want to ensure that the brand has its originality. So as an artist, I don't really pay attention to other people's work, but definitely as a consumer, which I am, regardless if I'm an artist, there's
Yes.
these brands I appreciate, this brand I love, and obviously it would be nice to actually do something with them.
Yes, that's great. Okay, so time to time, your ups and downs, what would you say inspires you? What brings your ideas together? Is it going for a walk, listening to music? What brings your ideas?
One of it would definitely be music. 100%. I love music, and
What type of music?
definitely Afrobeat. Shout out to Whiskey, shout out to Davido, shout out to Burna Boy, everybody. Kid Cruz, that's family. Yeah, this guy's music definitely motivation. UK music as well. UK Afro scene. I love my boy Discus.
Yeah.
There's an artist called yeah, the Afro pop scene, like Young Bane, these guys, all the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, music is sick. It's just a good space for Afrobeat right now. So when I'm down, there's a song. One of my favorite songs when I'm down to play some song by Adi Capio called Best Life.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. 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 I
yeah,
know that song. That's a
yeah,
tune.
yeah. That's a
That's
tune.
a tune.
And yeah, another thing that keeps me going is coming from where I come from Ibadan. The struggle is real. You know, there's not a lot of people that have the opportunity that I have to come here and obviously
Do what you're doing.
do what I'm doing, even starting a brand. You know, there's not a lot of people that have this opportunity. So
Right.
I always have that at the back of my mind that look, you've been given an opportunity here, and a lot of
Take it.
people will grasp it in
Yes.
at a second or whatever. And every time that kind of just push me. I'm like, yo, look,
To do more.
you got an opportunity. So just pick up yourself, man. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's how
That's great.
that's how I look at it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So are you, just to know a little bit about your personality, are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? Do you feed off being in your own space and, you know, work, or are you more of a social person where you like to be around people, where you can, you know, get ideas and, you know, work?
I think I'm in between. I think I'm on both
Okay.
sides. There are times I
Okay.
definitely love to be on my own and get these ideas out. I would lie to you if I told you I love my space.
Yes,
That's
it's
fact.
needed.
Yeah, I love my space.
Yes.
I can be selfish with that sometimes. Definitely.
Yes, I know. It's a good
However,
and a bad thing.
uh, trust me, it can be bad at times because
Yes.
I've had people come up and like, yo, sometimes you get weird with one
Yeah.
space, you know.
You just lock off.
They just lock off. So definitely that happens.
Yeah.
But as a creative, you've got to socialize. You've got to be around people. And again, I'll be lying if I tell you I don't enjoy that. I enjoy it. So I
You
wouldn't.
need it.
So I would not say, oh, because part of what helped FADXSTYLES is, like I said, is networking and having to be at these places, at these events, introducing the brand and getting to know other people. I've met amazing people along the way, photographers to project managers to set designers to all type of people that help FADXSTYLES along the way to
You need to
videographers.
be out there.
Yeah, videographers. Like if I wasn't in this thing, there's no way I would have met these people because
Exactly.
that's when my introvert part
Yeah.
would obviously causing because I'll probably just be doing my own thing and not wanting to be around these people and obviously I would have missed this opportunity. But yeah, definitely I'm on both sides. Yeah.
Defo.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
They should find a word. They should actually find a word to actually put you in the middle. There should be a word for it.
What, in the middle, in
Yeah,
between?
in between.
I
Yeah.
know. You can't just
Yeah.
be one
You
or
can't
the
just be
other.
one. It's like they're forcing you to either be one.
To pick
You know,
one.
to pick one. Like there should
Yeah.
be something that sticks you in the middle. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, like, you know when you need that solo time. You know when you need that
Absolutely.
quiet time.
It's very important, even for your sanity as well. It's very important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need that alone time
Yeah. Because sometimes
to reboost.
you just don't want to consume too much information. You know. Because
Yes.
consuming too much information affects your creativity as well. Because
Yes.
psychologically, we tap from these things even though you feel like you don't. You know. So sometimes you gotta be able to leave those environment, like turn off your phone.
Yes.
Don't use Instagram too much. I actually get like that sometimes, and then I have to snap myself back. Like, look, you've got a brand, and you've got to be active
You have to be there. You have to
on
be
these
out
things,
there.
you know. So,
You
but
have to
sometimes
network. You have to
exactly,
socialize.
absolutely. But sometimes you just get too much, and you just like, no,
Yes.
I wanna stay away, you know.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
hide out and lock yourself in.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so what got you into art? Because yes, you're a designer, but art, because it's another way of expressing yourself or some sort of performance. So what got you into art? Because I understand it is what kind of differentiates your label
Yeah,
with what's already out there.
exactly. Yeah. Well, like I said, I really can't tell what got me to it, but I just feel like it's a place of solace. If it makes sense, it can. So it's a situation or thing that calms me. So realize if I'm designing or I'm around these things, for example, if I go to an art show or I go to a art gallery, I just find this type of comfort around these things. And there's most art lovers that I've spoken to, they actually find it hard to explain the reason why they're in love. For example, how can you explain wanting to buy a painting for this particular amount of money, other than this just sense of maybe not a sense or an intuition that says, look, this thing is actually beautiful, or you get this energy from it. So that's what I see. Maybe the best word is I get this energy from it that comforts myself, you know.
Right.
And this is what I'm trying to put in the brand, because it's the difference between FADXSTYLES and these other brands is the ability for us to actually incorporate these this contemporary hat, this abstract art, and all type of this design with something that you've already seen. So for example, when I'm talking to people about what the brand represents, I would say, or if I title a particular, let's say a hoodie, for example, and people say, "Oh, why do you name it this?" I'm like, we actually just even struggle to name it because it shouldn't even have a name. But sometimes, obviously, having to apply it to the website itself, you need to put a name to it. So
Yes.
often I would tell people, because the painting or whatever that we design on this material has a meaning to it. But I want you to find the meaning. That's the thing. Like if you look through our design, it's passing a message, but only you can understand it. And this is the same energy that I get from looking at art or actually designing. Because, like I said, if you go to an art gallery, the way I see a particular painting, someone else might see something.
It has its own meaning for you.
Exactly. Someone else
It's
might
how
have
you interpret it, how
exactly
you feel
how you
towards
feel
it.
exactly. So this is where I
Right.
find, like I said, this is where I find my solace. This energy that I get from these arts. That's where the love for this thing comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. So if your fans could remember you for one thing about you,
Yeah.
what do you think? What would you want them to remember you by?
Well, that's a difficult one. I never
I
thought
know, sorry.
that. That's like women.
Sorry.
What would they remember me of? To be honest, I've never put a face to the brand initially. Like this is the first time that I'm actually coming up for a long time. So I would say this is brilliant. I appreciate you guys doing this. I'd actually turned down.
And we
I've
appreciate
actually turned.
you.
Yeah, I've actually turned down other interviews. You know, it's kind of hard to put myself forward and on these things. However, like I said, coming from where I come from, and the scene is non-existent. There's nothing like the fashion scene there. I would love I would love to change the fashion scene in Nigeria. So I'd love people to be able to look back that, oh, even if in 20 years now, FADXSTYLES doesn't exist anymore, because there are brands that come and go. There are brands like Fubu, School of Adnak, and what's the name of this Jay-Z brand? There's a lot of brands that come in the past that are gone now. But you can still go back on Depop and still buy them because it relates to a particular people and a particular audience. So I just want to be that person that changed the fashion scene in Nigeria. So you can go back and say, oh, this brand, I remember this brand did this.
Yes.
And then people.
And you remember back in the days,
exactly, and people.
The brand that used to have this. Yeah.
Exactly, and people actually build from there. Like brands actually come up because the fashion scene, it's nothing new. You know, people build from the ideas of the past.
Yes,
The
it has
influences,
always been there.
yeah, the influences of people that have done it before. For example, the Dior recent a fashion show. I've forgotten the name of the designer, the British guy. His influences came from Mr. Dior himself. You know?
Yeah.
So that means Dior had done something significant enough for the new generation to be able to tap into it.
Except
So that's the idea that I'm trying to obviously pass out as well. Change the scene, and hopefully the people to come can build off it. Or the generations to come rather. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That was a bit
okay. That's very nice and positive. So for all the ladies out there, would you like to let them know what your current relationship status is?
No comment.
Okay.
No comment.
A bit of a chilled one.
I get my lawyer to answer that.
Yeah. No comment.
No comment.
Okay, great. So if you could date a celebrity or an artist, any, who would it be?
Seyi, 100%. Shout out to Seyi. I'm in love with her.
Okay, so she's your kind of woman, yes?
We have the same name. She's beautiful. She's dark. I love my
Okay.
I love my dark
African
points.
black
African
woman.
black woman. She's
Yes,
sexy.
that's right.
She's an amazing artist as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just I don't know how to explain it. It was just natural. So definitely share shit.
You feel like you absorb more to her naturally.
Yeah, naturally. Yeah, that's the only. Funny enough, probably that's the only female artist that I feel like I kind of relate to. So yeah,
Why is that?
I don't know. It's like I said, it's natural. It's natural.
But what is it that you like?
She's dark skinned. She's African. Yeah, 100% family.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great.
So
Okay, so
shout out to the dark queens out there.
there you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Dark,
There you go.
dark queens only.
Okay. So, do you think as a designer you could get any better?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if so, how could you achieve that? What do you think you can put in place to achieve that, to get to the next?
Yeah, the one thing is we learn every day. So
That's right.
you're definitely better off from obviously learning and learning new ideas and finding new ways to incorporate and obviously making mistakes because mistake is actually part of what what you're supposed to pass through in life, you know,
Right.
and obviously just learning from it. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
So 100% learning and the idea of to make myself a better artist or a better person is having to work with this younger generation and see what they take is on the scene, you know, working with these guys, helping to further move the ideology of the brand. It's
Yes.
how I feel like I improve
Mm.
because I come from a different generation and I don't. And often you might get complacent of having to just instill these ideas
Mm.
of your generation into this particular brand, and you just forget about your niche market or the people that actually relate with your brand. So
Right.
one of our ways to improve is to work with this younger generation, and most of my team are of this generation.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so
it's giving them that chance.
giving them a chance. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Think
great.
one of the person that did that quite well is Kanye West, and you can see the impact of that now because all these guys from Samuel Ross to Martin Williams to Virgil Abloh, Don
Mm.
they all came from Kanye West actually giving them this chance
Definitely.
to showcase this thing, and this is how I feel like I can give back as well, and I feel like I can improve as well because I don't want to be stuck in the idea of what I'm doing all the time is just creating this idea of this ideology that I grew up with because often designers are complacent like that. Like, I'm doing this T-shirt that probably just only my age mate will work. You get what I'm saying? And then people are like, no, I'm not trying to look like some uncle
Someone
out there.
else.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So
That's great.
yeah.
So leading on from what you said, you would want to give back to the youths.
Definitely.
So as a person of color, especially with certain extreme situations that have currently been happening, what are your thoughts on racism?
Obviously that's a bad situation. Racism shouldn't even exist. 2020 we shouldn't even be talking about
Exactly.
we shouldn't even be talking about racism, right?
Mm-hmm.
But coming from where I come from, and I kind of exposed me to understand the scene much better. And even though racism is a thing, we need to acknowledge that. We've got to check the community as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to support each other. There's a lot of things that we have to put in place for these kids because these governments are not helping.
Right.
You can understand that. So, for example, one of the things I would love to do is to probably build a youth center that would help these kids with design, music,
Yeah.
things they would have access to.
A place that they can express themselves.
Exactly, things that would get them off streets. Because some of these guys that are probably interested in these things, the drug dealings and stuff, some of them are, shout out to the music scene, some of them are talented and they could have showcased their talent instead of probably getting trapped in the street or whatever.
Yes.
So yes,
find a way out.
Yeah, racism is bad, but we need to look at the communities when look how we going to end, because often what we get complacent with is looking for these help from these people that obviously are not willing to help, or they're not putting, because like I said, 2020 we're still talking about this. We need to come together as a community. The Jew people they came together, they built a community and they respect us, you know. Yeah, you look back in history, a lot of races have done that, come together and support each other. So this is what I want to do: come together, support the Black community, and obviously see if we can build a future of that. Get them off the streets, support them, let them see interest in other stuff that would help the community, not only music, art, even politics. It's a lot, because it's not enough representation for our community in politics, you know.
Yes.
And this is why these things are happening, you know. You looked at the parliament, it's
it's not for me.
It's not,
I don't belong there.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
When you do have a voice,
and
you can be there.
And every time they sell it to you that you have to vote and all sort of things where you have to vote, we understand that. But what are you voting for? Do they have your interest in mind? And that starts from educating the Black community, because the Black community is disconnected from the politics and from these things that happen. And this is why racism is still here till today. But if we understand that our powers and how we can impart these things, that way we're going to make changes. So one of the plan, like I said, is to support the kids and understand that they can do more than probably just music or even selling drugs. We got to empower the Black community. One person, I can't change racism. You understand what I'm saying? But the only way to do it, like I said, is to looking at the community and supporting ourselves.
Yes, we all are in it together.
Which is what is happening now, protesting and signing petitions and things like that.
Which leads on to my next question, and that is, with the pandemic, you know, coronavirus outbreak, and the Black movement, Black Lives Matter movement, do you agree that 2020 is a year of change?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. It looks like this year just came out from nowhere, and it's just
unexpected,
and it's just touching different things, you know.
And it's exposing a lot of things as well.
100% exposing a lot of things, and some of these changes that we're seeing, I would never have dreamt that would happen. I mean, I never thought Lego could put $4 million into Black Lives Matters, or they could remove police Legos from the chain of protests and things like that, or even institutions that we know the races are coming out and supporting the movement. Like, you would never thought to see that happening, you know. So 2020 it came from nowhere, and obviously exposing these things, you know, because these deaths, these police brutality, these racism, this institutional racism, all these things that have been happening, it's been here for a long time. It's not 2020 thing. I mean, I've been racially profiled or whatever before, so I know how it feels, if you understand what I mean. So it's not a new thing, but it just says 2020 is just the time. It looks like Corona kickstarted, and obviously the next thing is
the Black Lives Matter movement.
I'm hoping this will initiate like a chain of change, to be honest.
Definitely. It has brought a lot of people togetger, and like you said, certain places that you would not even expect to comply, they have been. I'm
seeing supports coming out of places. I'm thinking, are you sure you actually meant these things? You know, you'd never thought that they would come out and put their resources or their name on the line for this movement, which it shouldn't even be a movement in the first place. Like, we shouldn't even be talking about race in the first place. You understand what I mean? So the idea of them coming out to support it, it's not really something to celebrate. But we appreciate the need for that because they have a voice and they have a following that hopefully would understand that this is a bad thing going on, and
Yes.
it needs to be done with. We shouldn't even, like
Yes.
I said, we shouldn't even be engaging or
There
participating.
should be no silence.
No
There should
sign,
be.
nothing. We shouldn't even be on the streets protesting with
Yes.
just because of our skin color. And and
Yes.
some of these guys, they never choose to be in these places. They never choose to be in your country if that's
Of course.
if that's the thing. But circumstances that some of these government people might have caused to put people in this position, you know. So at this stage, we've got to acknowledge that and embrace that, really. Just move past the idea of racism and having to address it. But like I said, we need to look at the Black community and support each other. We need to have the system respect the Black community, see the value in the community, because we've put out we've done amazing things. Black people's touched so many things over the years. Even the music now is a representation, especially what's going on in the UK. I remember when I first came here, you turn whatever music channel, it's just music that I can relate to. You know, these days, like how music on the radio, how music on the TV. So it's about
yes.
It's
everywhere you go, you hear
exactly,
Afrobeats everywhere. You're
exactly,
like,
exactly. So
yeah,
it's about time changes need to happen, and we need to just get over this idea of this person is better than this person. Should be done with.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, so we're reaching towards the final question, and it is: if you had one message
Yeah.
to inspire young, inspiring artists, what would it be?
Okay. Well, that's that. I love answering that. Um, Over the years, I'd always felt, oh, like I said, even coming from Nigeria, I've always felt, oh, you can't do this. The resources are limited. But um, looking back at it from my perspective now, I realized that the opportunity is actually there. You just got to grab for it.
That's right.
I've seen brands change the narrative. I know a brand called what's it called, Motherland, a brand from Lagos that's been getting these rave and been doing amazing thing. They never had to travel out of the country to get this shout out or to get these hype, you know. So as a young creative, don't wait for the opportunity to come. You need to grab it. You need to look at
That's
what
right.
the resources around you and use it. You know,
Yes.
that Whiskey never have to travel out of the country to make a beautiful song, or Davido never had to do that. And trust me, a lot of us are stuck in that idea, especially back home, that you need to get out of the country to get this opportunity going. And like I said, I could have started FADXSTYLES in Nigeria. I understand the resources might be limited at this time. However,
Yes.
the world is exposed on the internet to make the world bigger now, and you can actually even get resources from overseas down to Nigeria to make this. And even some of these, I know a brand called Vivendi. They make their clothes from Lagos, you know, and they sell it across the world. Same thing as this model. And so don't wait for no opportunity to come to you. You've got to go get it. I say they don't think about, oh, I need to wait for this breakout or this thing. Start small. I never had to say, I didn't even save any money to start FADXSTYLES. I just had an opportunity and I took it. So and one of the opportunities, actually, I went to my supplier and I used my idea of business, which I said I had a degree prior, to establish a relationship with them, and we were able to build a line of credit,
Right.
which works seamlessly for us and enables us to actually get product without actually even paying penny.
Okay. Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Thinking outside the box. You're not limited.
So you have to think about it. So some people, for you gotta start. Sometimes you gotta just look for. You've got to save up this amount of money or whatever to actually start a business. If you get what I
Yes.
mean. But you don't need
That's
to.
just delaying time.
Exactly. So you just have to find what works better, and this is what we did. So
Yes.
find that opportunity and go for it. Really. Yeah.
Grab it with both hands.
Grab it with both hands.
There you go. That's right.
That's what we did. That's
okay.
And it works. There's no magic there. It's just you've got to think outside the box and find what works better. Whatever type of business that you're doing, you just have to find a way around it. And you don't need to be in the UK. You don't need to be in America. You don't need to be. You can be anywhere in the world and still make a change.
That's right.
The internet has enabled us to do these things now, to research and learn these things. So you've got to
reach out.
You've got to do that, and that's where you might get your escape from.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
No,
would you like to close it off by telling the audiences a little bit one more time of your brand?
Okay, so
and your Instagram, so they follow you.
Yeah, so the name of my brand is FADXSTYLES. Like I said, it's a short synonym for fashion. So fad means fashion and styles. And my Insta page for my product is at FADXSTYLES, and the website is www.fadxstyles.com. So we ship worldwide, 7-day shipment. Yeah.
And you cater to both women and men's clothing.
Yes, it's gender free. We actually don't put. There's no. Shout out to my